As we are recording this on, this is what is today? Today's Thursday morning. At around 8:30 California time, the President of the United States is on the phone with Mr. Putin. And we noticed that he has apparently gotten some agreements from Japan, India, in terms of not buying oil from Russia. And Putin this morning had sent out a cryptic note saying that do not send tomahawks or I will escalate. How do you escalate from what they're already doing? I'm not really sure. Anyway, what do you think? Are we gonna is now that Trump is done with the Israel-Hamas thing, he can concentrate and solve world peace in another region?
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Also, I saw, Randy, today that the U.S. government is $15 billion richer.
$15 billion richer.
Yes.
How do they do that?
They seized $15 billion of Bitcoin from a Cambodian billionaire.
Yes, I saw that as well. That was
Yeah.
quite the deal. They were operating a pig farm? No, or pig something.
No, it's called pig butchering.
Pig butchering. Yeah.
Yeah, basically where they try to trick people into thinking that there's someone that loves them and basically extract all the money they can from those folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they go after people my age in many cases, who they hope or have a bunch of money in their accounts that they're planning to give to their children, but these Cambodians would rather suck it up. But yeah, quite a deal. That's another huge win for the Trump administration, both from the standpoint of the 15 billion and also stopping the pig butchering.
No, it's pretty phenomenal. If the U.S. government isn't going to purchase any Bitcoin, well, I guess they can just seize it.
That's
That's
right.
even easier way to go about it.
You want to set up a nice fund, a nice what do they call those things? I forget. Ah, you know, like Norway, and these guys have these nice
Sovereign
funds.
wealth fund.
Sovereign wealth. Yeah, that's the word. So yeah, so and then this morning we've got some kind of new FSD 14.1.2 with a new mode.
We're going to talk about that.
We are. Okay, well then
Yep.
let's not. I'll let you get into that one. All
Sounds
right.
good. All
Well,
right, let's get started.
you got it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, first of all, let's go back to the Starship launch.
Uh,
Um, for those folks who don't realize how large Starship is, this is kind of a nice little graphic comparing Starship to a 737-8.
got it.
I don't know why it has to be Southwest, but I assure you most of the time Southwest airplanes are not flying in this position.
It's-
Yeah, perhaps occasionally that happens, but most of
yeah,
the time
yeah, and that's just the ship,
that's just the ship.
and the
Yeah.
ship is like one
And
third. Yeah.
well, so here you go. So now we
Okay,
can stack an
I
A380
see.
underneath that,
I see.
and the Starship with the booster is even higher than
Then
that, 123 meters. Um, so yeah, it's absolutely massive, and of course the circumference or the diameter of Starship is huge as well.
right, right. Yeah, some of those inside pictures that they show when they're getting ready to release the satellites is you get a feeling for the kind of what it would be like, maybe a grain silo size circumference.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of capacity inside there. So that I thought was helpful.
Yeah,
And then we also saw, just from this previous image real quick, you can see some of the staining on the side here.
yeah,
And it's not normally going to look that bad. They're doing some testing with the tiles, and what they actually do is remove some tiles to see if this Starship can survive.
right.
And of course, that causes all kinds of staining from the material that's behind there and so on. So pretty amazing, actually, that the Starship can do what it does with all these tiles missing.
Right. Yeah,
That was good.
that was a major part of the test.
Yes. I came across this website called Flight Atlas, and they've got basically every single rocket launch in the world going back since the beginning of time.
Huh.
Without looking at the answer, Randy, how many launches do you think SpaceX has done since they started?
620.
You're close, 572.
Not bad. Not bad, Randy.
Yeah, pretty good. I know you've been keeping track of them in your head since the beginning.
No, I just took 100, which I know was roughly the amount the last couple of years. It was below or above 100, and I figured, okay, put that over 5, 6 years, knowing that they had fewer in the past. It's just analysis. It's just
Yeah.
analysis. Yeah.
So they've got this beautiful visuals, beautiful graphic here of the different rockets,
Oh.
starting Falcon 9 here, Falcon Heavy, and so on, and the different versions. And it kind of goes on. There's multiple pages of them.
Hmm.
And this brings us up to the most recent one. So you can see here all the Starship test launches and then all the Falcon 9 rocket
Yep.
launches between those.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
Yep.
All right. The disclaimer.
Hmm.
Okay. Randy, we have a little bit of a debate going on in the Tesla community right now.
Okay.
So let me lay the groundwork for you, and then we can have a discussion about it.
All right.
Farzad suggests that if the CyberCab is really built to have no steering wheel and pedal, why use glass for the front windshield and doors? Why have a hood? Why can't you make it more aerodynamic since you don't need a windshield? There's nothing about this car that is optimized from a first principles perspective to be a level 5 self-driving car outside of not having a steering wheel and pedal.
So let me interrupt you right there. Is that Warren Redlick maybe chimed in? I don't know. But on my show over 2 years ago, he said the same thing. He says, why wouldn't we just have you get in? There's no windows at all. You save all that money, and you could have projectors, on screens in there showing you something else. So he was way ahead of Farzad on this one.
Yeah, my census on that is that we're not quite ready for that yet.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, it's one thing to be in an airplane and not see where you're going. It's one thing to be in a bus, perhaps, and not see where you're going. But a car, I think eventually we'll be okay with it,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
you know? But yeah, we're not sure quite there yet. But anyway, Eric from Tesla says, I'm very interested in what your first principles based idea of a level 5 self-driving car is and why now. So Farzad continues, I just don't understand why you would make such a banger form factor and not put a steering wheel and pedal in it. You will literally have zero downtime at the line for infinity and you won't be at the mercy of regulators. So he's advocating for Tesla selling CyberCab to people, right? And Eric says, if it helps you, you should see the form factor as a beautiful integration of design, occupant packaging for autonomy, operating efficiency, and vehicle function.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Tesla's clearly thought about this just a little bit,
A little bit.
right? For a while. And so then Stephen Mark Ryan weighs in. He said, Earth's big. It'll take time for Tesla to saturate the robotaxi market with cybercabs, especially as cost per mile goes down and miles traveled goes up. Selling cybercabs with pedals and wheel and pedals for consumers for $5,000 profit is dumb when the same hardware could earn 5 to 10x that annually as a robotaxi. All right. So this remains true until Tesla has completely saturated the global robotaxi market, and until they have completely saturated the robotaxi market, their focus should be, while remaining solvent, completely saturating the robotaxi market. As this is happening, millions of Optimus robots will be flying off the production lines, also printing money, and at this point, why is anyone even thinking about selling low-margin vehicles to consumers? So we've got two camps here,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Joe Bhakti weighs in. He said the big question in this debate between Farzad and Stephen Mark Ryan, in his opinion, is FSD is going to be deployment ready in the second quarter of 2026. He says, my bet, probably yes. Will we have regulatory approval be achieved for full-scale commercial unsupervised robotaxi operations in at least 2 major U.S. states by Q2? My bet, no idea. So he says, since Tesla can't speculate about these things, but needs certainty, since this is about supply chains and major capital expenditures, if Tesla does not have a clean line of sight to deployment, they have to, in my opinion, develop an affordable sub $30,000 car soon. But if they do have line of sight to scale deployment, they can make autonomy happen now. This is the $10 trillion question for 2026. Right? Now, Grok weighs in.
Okay.
And Grok says this discussion highlights a tension between pure first principles autonomy and pragmatic regulatory realities. Farzad's point about adding a steering wheel and pedals for flexibility makes sense, as it could enable production scaling without full level 5 approval delays. minimizing line downtime. Yet Tesla's no controls design pushes boundaries, betting on rapid regulatory progress and FSD advancements, which aligns with optimizing for the endgame of robotaxis over interim compromises. So with all that said, Randy, what are your thoughts about this great debate?
All right, let's start with regulatory. So I could be wrong, and to a certain extent, we have seen Tesla be shy, apparently, about how much they interact with regulatory bodies. I would think that they would have a very large body of lawyers and folks that would be out there in California, in Arizona, in Texas, working really, really close by, and taking these guys to play some golf and sending gifts to their kids' gifts to the kids' birthdays, doing what's necessary to schmooze and or convince these regulatory folks that we need to move quickly. Now that Tesla and now that Elon and Trump are back buddy-buddy again, we don't want Trump to walk into NHTSA and go, you must, but we want Trump to send signals. We want Trump to make sure that it's clear that he believes that autonomous vehicles are a key to the future of American prosperity and economic growth. That way, he doesn't have to say anything to NHTSA. They will get what the boss wants and potentially speed up the process. So I'm hoping all of that is going on, but I don't know. And the only person that probably does know, other than maybe some executives at Tesla, would be those regulators and Elon. So it's really, I think, what's his name, Bestie?
Joe Bhakti?
Bhakti, yeah, Bhakti. I read him. I think he's got it right. What is happening with the regulatory situation? And we know there's a difference too between the robotaxi and the CyberCab. So we know that robotaxis can be deployed at scale in some places and still waiting for local regulatory approvals. But we don't know about CyberCab because it falls under NHTSA really, with regard to pedals and wheels. So if you don't think NHTSA is going to act before the end of next year, then yeah, you don't want to start building millions of these and just sticking them in parking lots.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me though that they have, well, yeah, I guess the question is, do they have enough approval to just, to deploy them in Texas at least?
Right.
Right. Do they have one or like as Joe's talking here, do they have one or two markets they can deploy cybercabs, right, without getting any special approval? It's a robotaxi. They're deploying robotaxis as they are now. The robotaxis in Austin, while they have steering wheel and pedals, the safety monitor is not using them.
Right.
Right. So then what's the difference if you have a vehicle that doesn't have it?
Okay. The difference is that NHTSA has a federal rule that overtakes state rules. And that federal rule is that a vehicle without pedals and wheels is possible, but 2,500 maximum without testing and et cetera, et cetera. So you can make 2,500 cybercabs, and that's a nice start beginning to a ramp. So you might make your 2,500 if you don't have the regulatory approval yet, but you don't want. I'm not sure that I think what Farzad might be saying is, do you want to have all your eggs in that basket?
Right.
And couldn't you alternatively have a steering wheel and pedal version of it ready to go because people love the look?
Yeah, I was talking with Brian White yesterday, and he gave a really good explanation of why it's so difficult just to take the CyberCab and make it a consumer vehicle. It's not just a matter of putting the pedals and wheels in.
Right.
There's so many other factors, and I'll let him describe that if people are interested. There was a discussion he and I did on Herbert's channel yesterday, but it's not so simple, basically, right? Just to take that CyberCab and make it a vehicle you can sell. There's a lot of changes that you'd have to make.
100% true. And I'm not sure it might slow down the CyberCab progress, but it's not going to slow down the robotaxi progress. So
Yeah.
Tesla can make a lot of vehicles. We've just gotten that increase in China, where apparently, if we can believe the information that we're receiving, they're going to 2 million a year in capability. We've got lots of capability in Europe, lots of capability in Texas. So we can expand the existing product lines dramatically to take advantage of the opportunity until the CyberCab thing is concluded.
Yep. Okay, well, from one controversy to another,
Okay.
we now have the say.com questions for the earnings call next week.
Yes.
Here are the current top 7 questions.
Okay.
And it's groups of questions because it's not a single question each one. Each one has taken the opportunity to ask multiple questions. This is the key when you're asking questions is never ask just one.
Right.
Right. So the first one is, what are plans for the new car models? Will Tesla build compact car models leveraging the unboxed CyberCab platform? Will Tesla build a traditional SUV and pickup truck in the Cybertruck platform? If you were Elon, Randy, how would you answer this question?
I think there's almost no chance of an SUV and any other sizes or shapes or designs out of Cybertruck. There's something going on there that we don't know. And from a first principle standpoint, I think that's what we need to know before we can even ask this question. Why isn't Cybertruck moving down in price? Why isn't Cybertruck moving up in volume? Is it politics? Is it just too much? By the way, I got to ask you, are you still getting negative commentary out there when you're in your Cybertruck?
I've never really had negative commentary.
Never had it. Okay.
It's been probably 99% positive.
Okay.
There was a period of time there during the Tesla protests,
Yeah.
where I was worried about negative commentary. And during that time, I happened to be in Washington, D.C., kind of at the peak of the protests.
Mhm.
And I had one person give me the middle finger salute.
I see.
Otherwise, no issues whatsoever.
All right.
And in fact, a number of people on the way up there went out of their way to say how much they thought of the truck and how they supported Elon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if anything, it's been highly positive.
For you. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So overall, I think there's a perception out there that it's a what do you want to call it? It's so iconic that it draws a lot of attention. And for those who might be attention hogs, you're not looking for the negative attention. You're looking for the smiles and the, hey, that's a great truck. So knowing what Tesla's overall thoughts are with regard to the Cybertruck would help. If in fact they think that the form factor has huge potential, and that they've just not been able to ship because of these overhangs, that's one thing. But I think there's something more. I think there's issues in manufacturing, or the materials, or something.
And how about new car models?
New car models, we've got rumors right now. I think the rumors might be true of a smaller product in Asia. I don't know if that smaller product will be offered elsewhere. We've just seen the Model YL only being offered in Asia until the end of this year, end of next year rather. And so this other smaller model might also be in Asia only. Now that we know about the increase in capacity to 2 million, it would certainly make sense that they would be trying to utilize that space and capability.
Okay. All right, let's move on to question 2, Mr. Musk. What are the latest robotaxi metrics? Fleet size, cumulative miles, rides completed, intervention rates, and when will safety drivers be removed? What are the obstacles still preventing unsupervised FSD from being deployed to customer vehicles? Wow, there's a lot to that question.
Yeah, I think I'm going to answer it the way Phil answered it. Phil Beisel. He says, look, the engineers are trying to get as much information as they can. And they keep sending out new stuff. Can it do this? Can it do that? And that might be what's really going on. So it's not so much about, is it safe enough? But rather, can we make this thing amazing before release, rather than having a bunch of, bric-a-bats? I mean, right now, it looks to me like with the ability to go through in and out, or McDonald's, with the ability to choose where you're going to park it. It's got a whole bunch of capabilities that are far beyond what what Waymo can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so there might be other stuff like that they want to add and really make it smooth so that it's not even a question. You get into one of these, it is so much better than a Waymo, and it's already better than Uber because it doesn't have a driver. So I think that's what's going on, is let's really make this great. But I think it's safe enough now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Musk. On to number 3. What are the present challenges in bringing Optimus to the market, considering app control software, engineering hardware, training general mobility models, training task-specific models, training voice models, implementing manufacturing, and establishing supply chains?
So I'm going to go with establishing tasks as being getting the task thing down. We have not yet seen, not from any of the manufacturers, we have not seen versatile task capability that looks good. Not from Tesla, not from Figure, not from anybody. And so I think what the real issue is going to be is how can we see a robot that walks? Well, we've seen them, they're walking pretty good now. Can they walk out to their station in the factory? Can they then perform the task smoothly, human-like? Then can they exit that task, go on to a different task and do that one too? Is it smooth? Does it look good? And then how long does it take to train that task? Is it a bunch of videos and simulations is all you need? Or do you need, does it take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of engineers standing over it to make it work? So I think it's in that part of it, because it sounds to me, as I listen to everybody, it sounds to me like they've got the manufacturing almost there. They have version 3 ready to go by the end of the year. They've ordered up these parts from China, the actuators. I think the manufacturing side is ready to go.
Okay. Good answer. Thank you. Number 4. What is demand/backlog for Megapack, Powerwall, solar, or energy storage systems? Interesting wording. With the current AI boom, is Tesla planning to supply power to other hyperscalers?
Yeah. So it's a very good question. I really want to know the answer to this, and I'm Musk. So Phil, I'm sorry, not Phil. Yeah, Jeff Lutz was on my show last night. We talked about this very thing. And he says, look, the opportunity is, as Elon puts it, it is unlimited. So there's not a lack of demand. So the demand is there. So then the question becomes, how much of that demand does Tesla think they can capture? And again, Jeff said he thought they could capture, a lot of it, even though he's a big fan of EOS, which is an 8-hour capacity product. Tesla has now gone to 4 hours capacity, so not a lot of difference there. Well, double, only double. Anyway, but I'm not sure that Tesla has seen the need for the 8 hours yet, or they probably would have pushed for that. I don't think there's a real issue in getting it to 8 hours. That's just my personal take. I don't have the engineering chops to say that, but that's what I think. So yeah, I think my biggest question goes around the other side, the power side. Are they going to get into the solar panel business, in a big way with a gigafactory? Are they going to maybe even buy an SMR company, or start their own SMR company, division? I see Elon. Well, I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm going to quote you 3 times. He says he thinks Elon is intent on solving this problem, but is waiting to see what others do, and if he has to step in, he will.
Interesting. Last time I checked, Randy, 4 plus 4 was somewhere around 8. So does Tesla need an 8-hour Megapack, or can they just string 2 of them together?
Well, I've thought about that for a long time, but then you've got double the cost. And apparently the 8-hour version is already very competitive with the 4-hour version.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Number 5. Can you share the progress of robotaxi expansion? What cities will be expected to have a Tesla robotaxi fleet deployed by the end of this year?
I think there's a very good chance he answers this because he's answered it before. So I'm going to go with his number, that we will have multiple cities by the end of the year, that we will be able to cover half of the U.S. population with the cities where we're deployed, and the number of units over 500.
Okay.
And the safety guy's out soon.
Great.
Maybe November 6th. I have a strong feeling that he's going to want the shareholders to be able to come into Austin and ride around with ride around in cabs that do not have a safety driver.
Yeah, this would have been a good weekend too with the Austin Grand Prix.
It's true. But I'm thinking about shareholders,
Yeah,
uh, investors,
yeah, yeah. But just in terms of blowing away the general
Oh,
public, but
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
they're not
yeah.
quite there yet.
Right.
Number six, what is your projection for when FSD will allow for unsupervised driving?
So Elon also said by the end of the year, I think what we're seeing with FSD 14.1.2 would suggest it's ready. It's it's it may again come down to some regulations. It may come down to some insurance issues. But my understanding from the recent stuff I've seen is that Tesla has their own insurance in a bunch of states. I want to say 16, but I could be wrong. And that if you don't have insurance, you can always go to Lloyd's of London or somebody to write a master policy that would cover you in the places where they don't have it. Now, there could be really significant regulations in some place that require some level of insurance. And I do believe that the infrastructure issue was bigger than I was thinking it was. So between rapid response vehicles, we knew about the cleaning vehicles. Of course, we need somebody to clean them. And then we've got some kind of remote capabilities needed at headquarters, and whether that's 10 units for one person or 100 or 1,000, that is going to be, an expense, but one that I'm not sure would slow down the expansion of the product.
Right. All right. Last question. Instead of trying to replace hardware 3 with hardware 4 or AI 4, why not give an equal incentive to trade in for a new vehicle?
I think they'll do some of that, but I also think that we're waiting to see. It's a huge amount of stuff happening in AI right now in terms of shrinking the models. If they can shrink the FSD 14 model small enough to fit on AI 3, I think they might be able to give themselves a couple more years for people to trade in and out of I think I got the last AI 3 in the world in 2021. So, at some point, people that have 2021 and older vehicles will be ready to trade up. The more people like that they can solve, the less expensive it might be for the changeover. Now, the alternative is maybe there is a way to make an AI4 chip smaller, literal size and shape and the way that it connects to where it could slot in easier than right now. Right now, Brian White and others have said that there's no way you can't just slide in an AI4 chip.
Very good. Well, thank you for answering those questions, Mr. Musk. Very, very complete. We'll see if Elon actually does answer the questions that directly next week. Okay, so you alluded to this at the start of the show, but we have a new mode in 14.1.2, Mad Max mode, perfect for Los Angeles traffic. And Ashok says, for when you're late to your flight or pick your kid up from school and so on, you can go into Mad Max mode.
Yeah, so I have this thing where I use FSD for everything except my 0.4 mile trip to the grocery store. It's just why, I just don't bother. But I also noticed, because I was going off to one of my clients the other day, I also noticed that if I'm in a hurry, if I'm feeling anxious about the time situation, I don't turn it on. Somehow I feel that I'm going to get myself there quicker. It might be 2 minutes, it might be nothing, but I feel good. I feel like I'm contributing to the exercise of getting there on time or getting there as close to on time as possible. So the Mad Max mode might be really good for me.
We humans like to delude ourselves in all kinds of ways, Randy.
Right. It's
Yeah.
true.
You've provided us another example for the history books. Yep. All right. So apparently Tesla's rebranded rideshare fleet support to robotaxi fleet support and added new robotaxi fleet support supervisor and robotaxi operation manager roles in Texas.
Mm.
And we've got a few here for the night shift. The first 5 listed there on night shift in Dallas, Houston, Las Vegas, and Tempe, Arizona.
Okay.
So definitely some expansion signs there.
Right.
And robotaxi operations manager in Houston and Dallas.
Yeah, so all those things we just talked about, we need somebody to oversee all those moving parts.
Yeah. To our earlier discussion, Trump administration apparently to ease self-driving car rules in 2026. Again, don't know the source of this or whether this is true.
Sure.
So apparently they're set to overhaul regulations to speed up self-driving car deployment, targeting outdated federal motor vehicle safety standards. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the move is critical to keep America ahead in the global innovation race. So here's what's coming, Randy. New rules in the spring of 2026. They'll propose 3 rulemakings to update the motor vehicle safety standards for vehicles with automated driving systems and no manual controls. We were just talking about that.
Right.
Revising standards on transmission shift position sequence, starter interlock, and transmission braking effect designed for human drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Updating requirements for windshield defrosting, defogging, wiping, and washing systems to reflect autonomous vehicle needs. It's crazy, all these things are in there.
Yeah.
Modernizing rules for lamps, reflective devices, and related equipment, removing human driver assumptions. And then Duffy emphasizes eliminating redundant requirements to create a national standard that boosts innovation while prioritizing safety. So that all sounds absolutely wonderful if they can do it.
Yeah. So then the other side of the coin might also be, if they're getting close to these revisions, if Tesla can show them enough data, would they potentially increase the 2,500 rule? So in the interim,
Yes,
in
they
the
should.
transition, yeah,
They should. Lives are at stake,
right.
and injuries, not just death, but injuries.
Yeah,
and the costs.
last night, one of the drivers of the early, I can't remember whoever it was that lives out in the sticks, did have had a deer crossing in front of them, and said that the car, and at night, and he said that the Tesla picked up the deer way sooner than he would have. Something about, I think it was, I looked this up, I had Grok look it up, something around 235 people a year die as a result of accidents with deer or other large animals.
Yeah.
Do you know the rule? Do you know the rule of how to decide whether to brake or hit the animal?
I do not.
If it's above your hood. If it's taller than your hood, try to avoid it because you're going to die.
Yeah.
If it's smaller than your hood and you have to, go ahead and hit it.
Yep. No, that's unfortunate. And by the way, just to clarify, when you said that Tesla picks up the deer, you're meaning avoiding the deer, not
Yes, picks up.
Yeah.
Yes, picked it up in its lights, in its system. Its system said,
Okay.
"Hey, there's a deer."
Just in case someone out there is in the comments ready to mention that to you. So, Randy, the world that we're going to is a world that's like this. If you want to manually drive your car, you're going to have to go to a special place.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is that these special places to drive these cars will be fun. The roads will be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think eventually there could be a booming business for places for humans to drive their cars and smash into things if they wish.
So there are multiple places that I've been in the world. I can think of about 4 off the top of my head. One is there's a stretch going to northern Maui along the west coast of Maui, and there's a mountain that you have to climb to get around to the north side of Maui. And it is so narrow and the cliffs are so steep that driving myself, I was petrified. So I think to myself, would I really feel any better if it was autonomously being done? I'm not sure. Then there's a second one, which is, I don't know if you've probably done this one, is Pikes Peak.
Yes.
Which is, and not Pikes Peak. It's a mountain near Pikes Peak that you go up it's a one-way road, and you've got basically fall off on both sides, and the road is about the width of your driveway. And it's a fun one to drive if you don't mind heights. And then I was then downtown New York, downtown Lisbon, downtown Rome. So those in particular, I know I probably wouldn't want to drive in Taichung downtown either, but I never paid that much attention. I haven't been to Taichung in about 40 years, so I'm not sure, it might have improved. But those are 4 cities I won't drive in. And so I think I'd be more comfortable having the autonomous car. So maybe they could have Like you could still drive in those places for fun too,
Perhaps. Perhaps. I think FSD would handle the West Maui loop without any issue.
Right.
I think you could probably just close your eyes, Randy, and you'll be just fine. I've ridden my bicycle around that loop a few times, and
Okay.
it's a great bike ride. But yeah, driving a car on some of those narrow parts is kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of fun, Randy, it's hard to pick which one I love more. And then the Cybertruck account pipes up and says, "Not that hard, to be honest."
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the good news is Tesla seems to be making use of Cybertruck themselves. Apparently, Tesla's energy and charging team is using some trucks in their fleet now.
Right.
And it's a little hard to see here, but it says energy. The red line here, the Tesla emblem, and it says energy on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
So that makes sense to me.
Sure.
Actually, here's a little bit closer view.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. Starship, I think, also, or SpaceX has also bought much. Yeah.
Yep, they should. How does your narrative explain this market, Randy? Plot twist. All right. So Brian, our friend Brian, reposted this from Tesla Chan. So when Giga Shanghai's expansion is complete in 2025, it'll have an annual production capacity of over 2 million units.
Right.
Making it the world's largest EV production base and expected to account for about 2/3 of Tesla's global production capacity in that one factory in China.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian says this would be over 500,000 per quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And Q3 production was 242,000 in Tesla Shanghai. So doubling.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, well, it would be, if they used it to full capacity, it would be more than we've ever shipped worldwide.
Yeah. So exciting things to come, I guess. Big plans for the Chinese factory. All right. This is kind of a disappointing one, but it's also kind of humorous. So the Toyota chairman predicts EV-only future will destroy millions of jobs. If EVs become the only choice in the market, it could leave 5.5 million workers without a job, claims Toyota chairman Akio Toyoda. And then EV Circles added, in other economic news, there aren't as many farriers, chimney sweeps, or typists as there used to be. Right?
Yeah. And when folks get a chance to buy the book, the AI Rising book, they can go to chapter 3, right? That's only 2 chapters after chapter 1, which is CERN's chapter. CERN is like leading it off. Well, actually, Robert Scoble has the preface. So
yeah,
chapter 1 is CERN. Chapter 3, I think it's chapter 3. I talk about the millions and millions and millions of jobs that are going to be coming as a result of AI. So yeah, we'll find a way.
The car destroyed millions of horseshoe makers' livelihoods until they found a job at a car factory, says AJ.
Right.
And Lewis says job loss must be stopped.
Yes.
As he's got the switchboard operators. I think there were about 750,000 women at the peak.
Yes.
That operated the switchboards.
Yes.
And then here's a guy's ice cutter. So we mourn the loss of the ice cutting job.
Yes, the refrigerator, they should have never allowed it.
Yeah. Should never have allowed it. Just imagine all the young men that could have been put to work cutting ice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he looks pretty happy. He's got his cigarettes there in his hat. He's got his day supplies worth, I guess. Yeah. Anyway. And then Nelson says, ironically, a need to sustain an economy with fewer jobs might be the best thing for a country with such a declining birth rate, speaking of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So that one hits a little bit hard for Japan. And then at the very end here, X Trail says, shame that chimney sweeping was so rewarding, safe, and a great way for kids to make money.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So the moral of the story is that the world's constantly changing. And yes, we will lose lots of jobs, and we also will create many, many more.
Right.
This is kind of fun from Lewis. 1 horsepower equals exactly 746 watts, or the power to lift 33,000 pounds 1 foot in 1 minute.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's a horsepower.
I remember that from physics. I don't actually remember it. I remember seeing this in physics class. Yeah.
Yeah. This imperial unit, coined by James Watt, measures power, energy over time for comparing engines to horses. Mm-hmm. The phrasing mixes work and power, but it's standard shorthand. If you read that an electric motor makes 200 kilowatts, divide by 0.746 to get the horsepower,
Mhm.
268.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's helpful by Lewis. Now, Lewis didn't mention whether this is a standard range horse
Yeah,
or a premium or a Model YL horse. Not all horses are created equal, Randy.
but I think they're all four-wheel drive.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, but this would be a more affordable model that Tesla could consider.
it's true. That's true. I wonder how long it took to fill up.
Well, a while. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The emissions are a bit of an issue.
they were. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Not to mix our animals here, but we go from horses to bears. And the cartoon says running off, crossed out from the bulls.
I see.
And we love seeing the scared looks on bears' faces.
Right. So they're worried. The bulls are just pushing them off into the who knows where. I'm just looking for fun to see. Nope, we're a little. This market's a little bit down right now, but we're trying like crazy this morning to get to all-time highs on the S&P. So
Yeah.
we're close. We're close.
Now, this is really interesting. This is compute needs by task versus single shot chatbots.
Hmm.
Okay, so a single shot chatbot is here 1x.
Hmm.
If you do any image generation, it's 10x the compute needs to generate an image.
Got it.
If you do reasoning, the chain of thought approach, it's 100x.
Hmm.
And if you do video generation, 10-second videos, it's 3000x the compute needs.
Hmm.
And if you do what's known as deep research, which I use quite a bit,
Right.
it's 1,000,000 times the compute. Okay. So predictably, Michael Dell says, do your deep research.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So most of I probably do 10 to 12 grabs a day of major, like, and I wouldn't call it deep research. It's probably the next level down. But it's always encouraged me to do more. It's never saying, "Hey, you're using up too many watts. You
Yeah.
need to, it's like it has questions at the bottom. Do you want me to tell you this? Do you want me to tell you that?" Yeah.
Well, that's on point with this, Randy.
Oh, okay.
As data center production gets automated, the cost of intelligence should eventually converge to near the cost of electricity.
Mhm.
People are often curious about how much energy a chat GPT query uses. The average query uses about 0.34 watt hours,
Mhm.
about what an oven would use in a little over 1 second,
Yeah.
or a high efficiency light bulb would use in a couple of minutes.
Mhm.
Okay, it also uses 0.000085 gallons of water, roughly 1/15th of a teaspoon. Okay, now Jake did the math and says, well, this implies the average deep research is estimated to use 0.34 megawatt hours,
Mhm.
extrapolating from Altman's blog post.
Right, right,
So that's pretty crazy.
right. How
Maybe
many,
we can find
how
ways
many
of
teaspoons?
getting lower cost energy.
We need to find out how many teaspoons that is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's the snake, the volatility snake, and the thing inside says, well, that was sudden. Snake looks pretty happy with itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, you might think the snake looks a little bit pregnant, and that would flow to our next opportunity here. Tesla has now come up with the Optimus uh, suit, I guess, for little kids,
Yeah,
toddlers.
yeah. A onesie.
Onesie.
Yeah.
Tesla Optimus 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐿 says, your kid can now dress up as me.
I was thinking that we should, put together a pool of money and buy one of these, for Nicholas,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should. We
yeah.
should. We should buy one for his child, not for Nicholas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that.
It's too bad we can't buy adult size versions of these. Yeah, I think they would sell really well. Forget the kids, but
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Um, Money is not the problem. AI is the new global arms race, and CapEx will eventually be funded by governments, US and China. If you want to know why the gold, silver, Bitcoin is soaring, it's the debasement to fund the AI arms race.
And if people haven't watched the video that you and I did on debasement last Sunday,
Yes.
maybe I'll remember to put the card up. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But Zero Hedge says, but you can't print energy, and Elon says true. And that's why Bitcoin is based on energy. You can issue fake fiat currency, and every government in history has done so, but it's impossible to fake energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then this, not that Elon posts this. Elon's tweet captures something quietly seismic and cuts to the philosophical core of Bitcoin in a way most aren't able to. For those at the back, he's pointing out that Bitcoin isn't just digital money, it's stored energy.
Hmm.
Fiat is political fiction. Bitcoin is a thermodynamic truth. You can print currency, but you can't print watts. Every Bitcoin is a crystallized proof of work, a conversion of real world energy into incorruptible scarcity. Right? Limited supply of Bitcoin. It's not controlled by anybody. That's what he's meaning there.
Right, right, right.
AI consumes vast amounts of energy to create artificial intelligence. Bitcoin consumes energy to create artificial scarcity. Both depend on electricity, but only one builds something permanent and incorruptible. AI's energy consumption is needed to generate synthetic thought, which fades as models are retrained. Bitcoin converts energy into an immutable time-stamped truth. The century ahead will be defined by energy wars between states, corporations, and machines. Bitcoin sits outside all of them. It doesn't compete for power, it translates it into freedom. And that's what Elon means when he says fiat is fake. Fiat is detached from physics, from cost, from reality itself. Bitcoin is bound to the same laws that govern stars. Act accordingly. From not that Elon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I added my 2 cents on this. Elon clearly understands Bitcoin. How many Tesla investors still dismiss it? I've come across a few.
No, really?
Sad but true.
Yes, I would say that I'm not in the dismiss it crowd anymore. I'm in the I'm beginning to understand it better.
Yeah.
I think for the vast majority of people that got in early, people that I know that were not, what would you say, financially sophisticated, they were getting in it because they thought it might blow up. They didn't know any more about it than I did, but
Yeah.
they saw it as an opportunity to cash in. Most of the people that are not financially sophisticated don't understand how equities work, much less
Right.
Bitcoin. So I think that becomes, an issue. How do we get enough people to get clarity on exactly what Bitcoin is?
There's a famous John Oliver quote. I think he says Bitcoin combines everything people don't understand about money with everything they don't understand about computers. And
Yeah,
I would go further to say everything they don't understand about physics and energy, and
yeah,
there's so many elements to it.
yes, yes, yes.
Security.
100%.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to ditch the mainstream media narrative and go with the data. What do you think, Randy?
Oh, well, I haven't written anything on that ever. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That sounds really good to me, especially right now. I think I've been more discouraged recently by the mainstream media nonsense than I have in in years past. Maybe it's because of X and the visibility of all the nonsense, but I mean, um, I actually put up a contest yesterday, and the contest was they could get a free audio copy of the new book. It was like $25 value, for the person with the best new idea for the Democrats, um, along the idea of men can get pregnant, along the idea of it's okay with the border, we could just let all these people in. What new idea that is completely devoid of data and completely devoid of physical vision? Because so many of the things that are coming out right now, if I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's not just been on video, it's the kind of video where you're like, well, duh. And then we get a headline in the yesterday on inflation from Wall Street Journal. And you think, the Wall Street Journal would be better than that. No, not necessarily. It was the news section, not the opinion section. And they were saying, the price of, I think it was dairy, has gone up. It was specific, gave a list of things that have gone up. So I asked Rock, and then I went over and looked at Trueflation, and the price of dairy has gone down substantially, like 11%. It's, it's like, Don't say it if you don't have a
The
backup.
data gets in the way of the narrative, Randy.
That's right. That's right. 100%. That is apparently the world we're in.
It is, and I'm kind of shocked that the mainstream media still is as large and influential as it still is.
Well, a lot is happening. CBS is now not in the, I mean, it's owned by a conservative family. And they're making changes already with Barry Weiss going in to run their news division. You've got MSNBC and CNN that were just spun off, and they're now in a new company, which also is controlled by a more conservative voice. And so it's really going to come down to NBC and ABC as the remaining, and the New York Times as kind of the remaining groups. Even the Los Angeles Times and the Washington Post are owned by conservatives. So while I haven't yet seen the stamp of those conservative ownership on, well, the Washington Post you've seen a little, but the LA Times I have not seen any evidence that the new owner he's been there I guess about 2 years. I haven't seen any evidence that he has interfered editorially yet.
Is Jeff Bezos conservative?
Jeff Bezos might be conservative now.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a chameleon, kind of like Zuckerberg.
He's been
whichever way the wind is blowing.
He's been red pilled for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a certain thing called survival that kind of requires them to kowtow to the leader that's in power.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out over time. Jeff and Zuck, we will give you the benefit of the doubt or not for now. We'll see what happens after the next change of leadership. Although, according to many outlets, including CNN, if these redistrictings are successful, and if the Voting Rights Act is thrown out by the Supreme Court, which it should be, since it's clearly got racial components in it, then several people are saying the Democrats will never have the House of Representatives ever again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a bold statement. But yeah.
Your post was right. We have changing times, and it's right in the middle of the beast right now, in the belly of the beast.
Right. Yeah, the pendulum swings back and forth, Randy.
It does. It does. And sometimes, I know over the years, I don't know about you, I've always felt like the pendulum swings back and forth, but it always goes a little bit further out to the left, and then only comes back this far, and it's like, come on, guys. I have so much to say about that, but never mind. Cern Basher, as always, you've brought us amusement. You've brought us education. You've brought us Bitcoin. Oh yeah, Bitcoin is always going to be part of every slideshow, right?
It doesn't have to be, but it is kind of all related. It would be like talking about the world today without mentioning AI.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, it's the fastest growing asset, over years, and certainly an important part of what everybody's future is apparently going to be. If we can look at some people that I trust and respect, Cathie Wood, Tom Lee, et cetera, we're going to be looking at a lot of cryptocurrency in the future. You have offered to potentially come back this weekend and give us another a bit of financial information or education that we might be able to use. You want to tease it?
No, let's just surprise everybody.
All right, good. All right, no tease. All right, Cern Basher, thanks as always for coming on, and to all of you out there, it has been great talking to you.
Thanks, Randy.